You're listening to The Startup with Monique Lore, only on LA Talk Radio.
How's it going, Los Angeles? This is The Startup with Monique Lore, and I'm Monique Lore. Thank you for tuning in. This is our Christmas Eve 2023 show. I can't believe it. We are at episode 172. And I'm just so grateful for still being here. It's been a heck of a year. I don't know for you guys, but I'm so excited to close the show, the last couple shows of the year out with some amazing entrepreneurs. And one of them is with us today, Dr. Corona. How's it going?
Good, Monique. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm well, thank you, and you're welcome. And I'm loving your Christmas spirit, your Hawaiian theme here. I would love for you to just introduce yourself properly and tell us who you are and what you have going.
So basically, I'm a medical doctor. I started my practice about 30 years ago. I started in family practice, and I really enjoyed the first about 10 years of my practice in primary care. But I was always really interested early on in mental health. And in the 1990s, when I started, I new medications had come out, new antidepressants, mood stabilizers. And I really started developing a love for the field of psychiatry. And so about the year 2000, I made a big decision to give up my primary care practice and move into mental health full time. And I haven't looked back since then. And I've really enjoyed the challenge of it. And I really realized that I can make a bigger difference in people's lives by doing this than being a primary care doctor.
You know, I really love this topic, Dr. Corona. And first of all, thank you for touching on this, especially about this time of year. There's a lot of things, people deal with throughout the year, but I find that during the holidays, and maybe a lot of people do, that it just seems to kind of have piled up or reflections, and there's stigma still around mental health. And I always say this is the engineering that's piloting the plane, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the holiday season is definitely the peak season of the year when it comes to depression. And, we call it seasonal affective disorder. I think it's a combination of, the days get shorter, it's dark out at 5 p.m. And then it's also just the holidays, remembering family. There's a lot of problems sometimes within families this time of year, and that kind of gets exacerbated. And so, but and then also going through the whole COVID issue, the pandemic, that was terrible for mental health. So hopefully going into next year, things are gonna get better.
You really hit on a lot of things there, and I'm actually really interested in finding what you found with what's been helping people, right? Coming out of this post-endemic phase, what's really been making the change for people now?
Well, again, just I think focusing on the fact that mental health is physical health. I think there's a big misunderstanding. You mentioned stigma, huge stigma. There's no other area of medicine even close to the amount of stigma that's attached to this topic. People just don't take it seriously. People think it's just a weakness, and that if I try harder, I can get through it. And again, people can get through things, and they can. What helps? Exercise helps, therapy helps, yoga, meditation, things help. But I think if for a lot of people, it's a medical thing. And so my practice is basically dealing with psychotropic medications. And there's so much misunderstanding with these medications, that they're brain control drugs, or that they're dangerous, or there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, who have these outdated opinions about this subject.
Yeah, and so why don't you, if you don't mind, let's run some of these down. Let's really get into it, right? Because I think it's important to kind of start putting the right information out so that it's not such a, you don't have to have a hang up about needing a little help. I find that a lot of us, I'm guilty of it, going to the wine a little too hard, when you're stressed out or you're anticipating, you've got anxiety and you're stressed about a deadline or something, when rather, there's some other healthier ways to handle it. And we do that as a society so often. And then we're surprised that people have a fallout,
Right.
So let's talk about it. Let's run some of them down. You know, the SSIs, the benzodiazepines. What's some updates on some common things that people use that we maybe should know?
Well, I think what a lot of people should know is that the modern psychiatric system is not great. What led to me in my practice, and with my current book that's coming out in February, the Corona Protocol, is I've really developed a much better way of approaching things. In other words, for example, you mentioned SSRIs. So everybody thinks that they are the be all and the end all, and then every doctor out there except me, well, a lot of doctors, not everyone, think that they're the best first line products. They're not. There's better out there, like SNRIs that work also on norepinephrine. And then also, combining things and not just relying only on benzos like Xanax and Valium, et cetera, but really rebalancing someone's neurochemistry. So that's what medications really do, is they right the wrong. What they do is fix the imbalanced chemicals within the nervous system. And so what my job is to try to figure out, by taking a really good history, is to figure out what is specifically the best medication for that specific person. And I developed this protocol, which led to my book, and and that I think is a better way of approach than the typical current psychiatric system. Everyone thinks, like I said, you got to wait 6 to 8 weeks for this to work, and then if that doesn't work, and so basically it can take months and months with the old psychiatric approach to get people better, whereas I can do it within 1 or 2 weeks, up to maybe 1 or 2 visits. I can get people well, because I work very quickly. I don't wait around for people to not get better. My goal is to get people better quickly and safely.
I love that, and I think there's something there that, let's just say it. A lot of doctors, a lot of people who practice want you to get stuck on something and just kind of mask and just kind of push these pills. They're not looking to get to the root of it and help you get better, right? It's just a topical thing. Right. What makes you different?
Well, again, it's targeting the person, the neurochemistry properly, and not just numbing people. SSRIs can be a good numbing, and they're okay with some people, but just relying only on tranquilizers and then people drink on them. And so I think that what my goal is with medications is to make sure we're targeting each neurochemical. Basically what medications do is they fix leaks on the cell membrane. And to be a very short explanation about the nervous system, there's over 100 billion nerve cells. There's over 100 trillion connection between the nerve cells. And what's going on is chemicals are rapidly passing around the system 1,000 times around the body every second. So what the problem is that certain chemicals can leak and the wrong direction. And that's what the problem is. We call them neurochemical imbalances. What medications do is they attach to the cell and they fix the leak. And they make the chemicals go the right way. And again, really short explanation of why do they go out of balance? Genetics, number one, runs in families. Mm-hmm. Number two, hormonal problems. That doesn't help. And number three, stressors, life, trauma, stressors, PTSD, etc. Those are the big. So that's a kind of a short explanation about what medications do and what leads to the imbalances.
Really, really great information, because it kind of sounds like a plumbing issue. Like it's a plumbing, you're plugging the right hole, for a lack of a better term.
Yeah, I say in my book too, it's a plumbing and electrical issue, because there's electricity going on and the plumbing problem, and exactly, and that's all they're doing is correcting the, it's kind of like, if you have a leak in the shower and then the water's not coming out very well. Well, if you plug the leak up and fix it, all of a sudden everything's flowing correctly. Well, that's exactly what medications do. They plug up the leaks, they fix the imbalances, they fix the problem. And it doesn't like it fixes everything, but they get people to the point where they feel like themselves again. They feel like like they haven't felt this good in years. That's the goal. The goal, and I always establish with every person, like, what's your normal? When did you feel your best? And I assure them, look, my goal is to get you back to that old person. When you felt good in the past, that's my goal. Or some people say, when I get it better, they say, I've never felt this good. And that's kind of all I knew was feeling bad.
I love that. Listen, I don't know what there's some banging going on, but we're going to work through it. It's the holidays here. But so Dr. Corona, why don't you go ahead and plug where people can find you, and what does your Q1 look like as far as taking in new inpatients, and are you doing virtual consults mostly? Okay.
Probably 90% of my practice is virtual by phone, and about 10% is in the office. That dramatically changed after COVID, of course, and that's where people started getting used to the fact that, hey, I can save gas, save time. I take new patients. I see a lot of new patients out of state even. So the way to get a hold of me is through my website at drpaulcoronamd.com. So DR for doctor. So DR Paul Corona, like the virus, MD like medical doctor.com. And on there, with my first 3 books, it took me 12 years to write. They're available on my website. I have a bunch of blogs. I've done about 125 podcasts. So,
Wow.
So my podcasts are available on Spotify and on my website. And you can read everything about me and my practice, etc. And I'm really excited. This new book coming out, I've spent 5 years doing it. And I've also written 2 books for doctors. So my plan is to teach doctors and prescribers. And so I'm hoping that this upcoming book I think it's going to be a big hit.
Can you reveal the title? Did you just tell us?
It's called The Corona Protocol.
Okay.
A scientifically proven medical solution to stop addiction, bullying, homelessness, school shootings, and suicide. 30 years.
Wow. Let's say that title one more time, because you're covering a lot of territory there. Let's do that again.
It's the Corona Protocol. And again, the Corona Protocol is the way I do my methods. The Corona Protocol, a scientifically proven medical solution to stop addiction, bullying, homelessness, school shootings, and suicide. 30 years in the making.
Beautiful.
So
yeah.
So this is different than my first 3 books. Which is 1,200 pages total. This book is all storytelling. So what I did, it's a very fun book because I tell 30 original stories about patients, and some based on people I know, some based on just fiction, but it's really mostly a fiction book. And I think it's it's being professionally edited right now. It's being marketed by a book marketing company, Black Chateau. And it's the company loves it, and I think it's going to be a really impacting book because it talks about all these things I just said, plus other things: depression, anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, narcissists, sociopaths. It's a broad range of things. I also tell my story in the book, from start to finish, what got me into this, what my journey has been. And so it's a very personal book. I tell a lot about, good and bad things I've been through, tough times I've gone through. So it's a very personal book, but I'm thinking that it's going to be a big hit. And then when it is, my next goal, like I said, I want to teach. I want to develop a training course for prescribers. That's the ultimate goal.
I really love that you said it's 30 stories throughout your interaction with clients, and it's clients and yourself. You put some of your own sweat equity in there, because that's going to make it super relatable. Because I'm pretty sure someone's going to be able to relate to at least one of those 30 stories if you've lived a little life, right? So What a great concept. Thank you for having the courage and the tools to attack and just really go forth on these subjects, because I do feel like we are, as a collective, we really need some new tools, man. We're all kind of, not everybody, but there's a lot of people that are in meltdown or are on the fringe a little bit with things.
Yeah, things are bad out there, and basically all those crazy things I put on the cover. I mean, it's obviously attention grabbing, but also it's all related to mental health, and so if we can fix the mental health crisis, then we can help. That can help, because again, in addiction, and people say, how do you fix homelessness? Well, homelessness is addiction and mental health. So if we can fix those problems, then we can fix the things. School gun shooters or mass shooters, obviously mental problems, suicide, obvious, bullying, a lot of that going on out there. And so, so this book is basically trying to explain why these modern phenomena are happening, what we can do about it. It's really a book of hope. I think it's a very positive book. It ends on a happy note, and even the very difficult, dark stories I have in there. There's most of them, at least most of them, end on a good positive note, except for a handful that don't.
Do you feel that there's hope for right now that person out there that maybe is just really going through it and they're on the edge? I've heard two people that I know. One I personally knew, and then one I know through a friend, not personally, but that decided to exit and not be with us any longer. And what message, as we close out here, do you want to give someone that maybe might get wind of this and they can't seem to get out of the bed, or they just feel the weight and they're lost, they have no hope? What can we share with those people?
Basically hope, and look, reach out to someone who can help you, and I'm available. I take new patients every day, and I'm very busy, but I like being busy, and I like helping people. So just to know that there's help out there, and if you don't have a doctor that can help you, reach out to me, like I said. But the important message here is, with mental health, is it's totally fixable. And that's the message. And when people get into despair, they don't see that. They look like, especially people who are suicidal, they don't see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see hope. But it's a very, very, very hopeful situation. Like I said, you just got to get past the whole medication thing, which is hard to get past for some people. They can't seem to get past. I don't want to do medication. Well, your
plumbing's leaking. Your plumbing, you need to patch the hole. Right? Yeah, it's not funny, but
it's understand it's a medical problem, and it's treatable, it's fixable, and why not reach out and get help?
Beautiful. Thank you for saying that. And now I'm just I promise this is the last question. I'm kind of curious, what refills your cup? Because you're pouring into others constantly. What do you do that brings you back to one?
Well, spending time with my cat, Seymour, my emotional support cat. And I'm a major cat guy. Okay. But no, I think what does it to me is just hearing from people constantly. Every day I hear how much I've helped and you've saved my life and all this stuff. I love that. I mean, I love this field of medicine so much because of the fact that I'm constantly getting these messages from people that that were hopeless before, and now they have hope. And there's nothing, as a doctor, there's nothing that you want more than to do that. And that's why I think I kind of fell into this field, is because there's no other field in medicine that this is more needed.
Beyond. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for coming on our Christmas Eve show and giving some hope this holiday season. Hope to see you soon, Dr. Corona.
Thanks, Monique. Appreciate it.
All right. See you soon. All right, you guys. Sam, let's pause for a minute. Hello, Skip. Sorry for the noise. Hi, Skip. Hi, Skip.
Hey.
Hey. I have a little hammering going on, so give me 1 second, but someone wants to say hi.
Okay. Oh. Capone. Hey, baby.
Hi,
my
babe.
gosh.
Hi, bub.
How's he adjusting?
He's amazing. Oh,
look at the little kisses.
He's so spoiled. He's got an Instagram and a TikTok page.
Wow, good for him. Little celebrity, never hurt anyone.
Yeah, he's got a little itchy skin today, but we're going to get him some more of that skin medicine. So let me park him over here. Sam, give me just 2 seconds, okay?
No problem. I'm going to walk away too for a minute.
Okay, come here, bub.
Come here, Joey.
Hello, Bubby. All right, you're a little noisy. Mommy's got to move. Okay, sit right there, baby. Okay? All righty.
I just walked out for a moment.
Okay. I've never had the luxury of stopping before on a pre-tape. That's what the cut and paste.
Come here, Joey. I got one of my babies.
Oh, Joey.
Joey, one of my babies.
Oh my goodness.
I actually own 4 bulldogs.
Oh my goodness, I love it. All right, Sam, we're gonna start back up at 1:30, so it'll be clean timing. And is that all right, Sam?
Absolutely.
Okay, Sam. Okay, just go. He says, okay, all right, you guys. Our next guest here is Skip from Southern California Bulldogs. I want to make sure I say it right, or SoCal Bulldogs. Skip, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, great. So I wanted to really do this. Thank you so much for, making time in your schedule during the holidays so quickly. But my main motivation, of course, was to help find some bullies a home for the holidays. And yes, this is airing Christmas Eve, but you know what? A bully could go home for the new year. Why don't you tell us about your program and how people can help?
I appreciate that. We're English Bulldog Rescue, but we take in English Bulldogs, French Bulldogs, some of the Bulldog mixes that come in looking for homes. A large portion of our dogs come from the local animal shelters. Mm-hmm. We get a very large amount of dogs from owners that have to surrender dogs. It's especially hard during the holidays.
Yeah.
We don't have enough homes to adopt. People are already traveling. Families have some pretty difficult decisions to make when they're giving up their dogs. So those stories weigh hard on us too.
Yeah.
We probably have a waiting list of 15 to 20 dogs waiting to come into rescue. And we have another 15 to 20 dogs that are already in rescue waiting for homes. We're waiting for people like you to adopt.
Oh, well, thank you. And yes, I really love your work now, and I've been following you guys for a while until my schedule could get where I could commit and, really be here. And so I'm happy to announce to everybody that Skip and his team helped me find my little guy, and he's in his 2-week trial, and it's going fabulously. We've fallen in love with each other.
I would love to hear that. That's excellent.
That's my guy. His name was Capone when I got him, and we renamed him Winston Capone. And he's got so much personality. He goes out and meets people, and we've got an Instagram and a TikTok, and he's a sweetheart. And I'm so grateful for the gift to have him and to help. And so why don't you talk to people about this 2-week, thing that I'm going through right now with Mr. Winston Capone?
Oh, okay. So when we get the dogs, the very beginning is getting the applicants. We try to get people to apply and show interest in adopting the dog. Once we match up a dog to the family and we have the family meet the dogs, we like to have a 2 to 3 week trial period with the family. We recognize the majority of our dogs are adult dogs. A lot of them have behavior issues, training issues, bad habits. We want the families to have time with the dogs to see if it's really a good fit for them. Is this the right dog for that family? And is that family ready for this dog?
Yeah, that's really good due diligence there and connecting those pieces. So right now in Southern California, you give me a guesstimate if you don't mind. You said there's about 15 waiting in shelter to come to you guys and do that work. And there's 15 in queue with you that need homes, right? So we're looking at that 30 maybe right now?
Yeah, we're not the only we're not the only rescue out there that does English Bulldogs.
Yeah.
We're probably the largest in the Southern California area.
Okay.
We cover an area from Fresno down through San Diego, all the way to the state borders going east, Arizona and Nevada.
Okay.
We go technically out towards Catalina, and we even take in bulldogs from overseas, from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Hawaii, Korea, the Philippines.
Wow.
If they can get the dogs back to the USA, we will take them into our rescue program, and we will try to find them homes eventually. Along with us, there are some other bulldog rescues out there, and there are also what we call all breed rescues.
Okay.
These are people that just take dogs in need, and you can go to them any day of the week and find a Dalmatian, a Chihuahua, an Afghan, and probably some bulldogs too.
Nice.
But we do focus on the English Bulldogs now.
And that's important. All of that work is important. I didn't know you were so broad. And so that's great because I mean, I guess there's every scenario, right? You move out of the country and you have to move again and you can't take the dog or something happens. I mean, you got to go run.
There's a lot of reasons that people have to give up their dogs. They aren't mean people. They aren't bad people. There are some difficult decisions to be made by families. If you move from California to Mexico or Australia or Japan, you may not be able to take your dog with you. So you have to give up that dog. You have to rehome that dog. Some people, they die, unfortunately. And there's no one who wants to take on that family pet. And those pets end up in animal shelters for lack of anywhere else to be.
Yeah.
And we try to get those dogs from the shelters before they're euthanized, hold them in a foster home, get them medical care, get them food, shelter, whatever else they need until we can find an adoptive home for them.
Well, I love it. And you're doing great work. I mean, and listen, bulldogs are not easy as far as maintenance. They're easy to love and they're easy to see and just love. They're so ugly. They're beautiful to me.
Yeah. A lot of people feel that way.
I love them. Yeah. And so when you're adopting a bulldog, I think it's important for any potential adoptive families here that are listening and viewing to know if you haven't done it before. Like I had a French before I had Winston Capone. And so I had a French bulldog and there's skin needs, there's eye needs, there's a lot of maintenance with these dogs. And maybe you could, we got some barking.
I got some barking. Let me go take care of that barking issue for just a second.
All right, guys, while Skip is checking on the bulldogs, I want you to make sure that you are following us on Instagram at The Startup with Monique Lore or LA Talk Radio on all platforms. All right.
I apologize. I do have the 4 bulldogs, and they do become demanding at the most inopportune moments.
I understand. Well, in the last few minutes here, Skip, why don't you just highlight why it takes a certain type of adoptive home to handle or maybe just adjust with bulldogs' needs?
Well, we deal primarily with adult bulldogs, so they already come with what we call luggage. They have their own issues. Are they potty trained? Do they have bad habits? Do they get along with other dogs? Do they like cats? So finding the right home for that, the right environment, can be tricky and can be difficult.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen immediately, like you're bringing home a puppy or some other young life that you're going to kind of mold into the perfect being or the perfect pet. You're going to get an adult dog from rescue like Capone. Capone is a couple years old, so he may have some quirks that he needs to be worked with. He may need to be trained and have some positive reinforcement with that. And that takes time, which you even recognized that you had to be in the right space at the right time for that. That's a dedication of time. That is habit. That is routine. You just can't put them in the backyard and forget about them.
No.
Too many people do that with the dogs.
Yes, I've seen that, and I'm just, that's wonderful that you really just highlighted that for us, and I'm excited to get you some support out there. So, Skip, why don't you go ahead and plug where people can donate, where people can apply, and where people can make a difference for the bulldogs?
Absolutely. The best place to go to is our website. Our website is kind of a one click gets you there, and then you have everything that you need from us. It's www.socalbulldogrescue.org. You can go to that website. You can see dogs for adoption. You'll probably see about 15 to 20 bulldogs just today looking for a home. We have a site where you can make donations. You can do a one-time donation. You can make monthly pledges. We have items that we need in rescue. We're constantly needing food and toys.
Yes.
We need leashes. We need harnesses. Things that you and I take for granted for our own pets, rescue dogs don't have. They leave a shelter with a rope around their neck if they're lucky. That's just inhumane.
Yeah.
There are owners that are so down and out on their luck that they haven't fed their dogs in days, let alone themselves. Those dogs need medical care. They need to go to a vet and get their shots. They need flea treatments. They need to have eye drops. Yeah. There's neglected medical care that may not have been done for months or a year at times. That costs money. Vets can donate, but they still have to make a living. Yeah. So rescue needs that money to help pay for those medical bills that the owners weren't able to do.
Thank you so much for breaking that down, Skip. You guys, if you're feeling like you want to give this holiday season and in the New Year's, get on this website. This is some good work. Skip, come on back. We'll have you again really soon and give us an update. Maybe you could bring a couple babies on that are available.
I absolutely would. Matter of fact, I will show you my monster right now that is begging for attention.
Okay, let's hide a monster.
Yeah, come here, Joey. Oh! This is Joey.
Hi, Joey.
And Joey doesn't realize that he's not the center of the world all the time.
Oh, hi, Joey. I love his color.
Yeah, he's a tricolor brindle, and he's about a year old, and he weighs 65 pounds now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's not as big as your Capone, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Capone's 45 pounds, I thought.
Yeah, Capone's a good weight. This boy's a chubby boy.
Okay. Well, he's still beautiful, and the brindles are always sexy.
Thank you very much. But we would look forward to talking to you again and doing an update again. Maybe we'll have you come out to one of our adoption events.
I would love it. You've got all our love here at the startup. So bye, sweetie. Bye, Joey. Thank you, Skip.
Very much.
All right, you guys, what we start up today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
You're listening to The Startup with Monique Lore, only on LA Talk Radio.